Hello to all you beautiful souls out there. Thank you for tuning in to my podcast, Lupita on Fire. I appreciate your presence. I can't wait to talk about um, what I wanted to share with you today. Just in case this is your first time tuning in, I am a licensed psychotherapist, confidence coach, motivational speaker, DJ, single mom. I could keep going, but I'll just stop there. If you would like to contact me about either services or just general mental health questions, perhaps even finding resources in your area having to do with mental health, please feel free to reach out to me. You can find me on any social media at Lupita V Coaching, and that is L as in love, U, P as in Paul, I, T as in Thomas, A, V, the letter V as in victory, and the word coaching, C as in cat, OACHING. Okay, so let's get started. Today, I want to talk about confidence and what does confidence have to do with dreaming and things like that. I am wearing my sunglasses today because my future is so bright. I have to wear shades. I'm gonna take them off right now though, because I want to make a connection with you. Connecting. Um, so I'm sorry. I like to think before I speak, and it takes me a couple seconds. Okay. And scene. No. So I had a client who was very depressed, and it was very difficult for them to really find a way out of their depression. And one way I was able to empower her was to get her to daydream. Upon our first session, and this is pretty standard and pretty common with people that have depression. I don't want to start. Um, I can't daydream. I can't think of positive things right now. Like shit is really fucked up, and it's hard for me to focus on anything other than what's going on at the moment. So um, today I'm just really really excited, and most of the time I'm really excited, but I wasn't always this way. I A little bit about my personal story. I have experienced as a child rape, molestation, emotional abuse, physical abuse to black eyes, busted lips, broken bones, and then later on have repeated this pattern of, um, I guess, kind of toxicity and chaos as an adult and only with a child. And so all my life I was experiencing PTSD and major depression, and I didn't know it. I didn't know. I thought that everyone felt that way. I thought everybody wanted to die. I thought people just always felt that way until I got older and I realized that that's not how everyone feels. And I thought when people want, in having this idea of everyone wants to die, they just don't do it. I had these spiritual ideas as well that were interwoven with that, with like, oh, okay, well, if you kill yourself, you go to hell. So that's that's something that's probably a reason why these people don't kill themselves, because they don't want to go to hell. And then I get older and I find out more about people that committed suicide having to do with depression and anxiety and things like that. And just the dots were not connecting. And so, how I figured out how to conquer and to beat not my depression, that's not how I call it, it's not my depression. how I conquered and beat depression and anxiety is by focusing on something different and allowing myself to go to a different place in my mind, even if it was ridiculous, even if it was so childlike, even if it was so ridiculous, so like outlandish, so like a fantasy. Um, and then I started to pick up momentum after doing this repeatedly, and I started to challenge my brain, not my mind, because I feel like when you have practiced something for a really long time, you create this Grand Canyon in your brain, this really big groove that's hard to come out of. And so when you are creating this really deep groove that's hard to get out of, what's easier is to create another one instead of trying to fill that one in. Is it possible to fill that one in? Absolutely. However, if it's easier to create another one, then why not make another one? It doesn't make sense. So what I was doing was creating new patterns and practicing self-awareness and realizing, okay, when these old thought patterns come up, that's just practiced more. And that's not who I really am. Who I truly am is this amazing and fantastic person that has this imagination that goes beyond borders, beyond countries, beyond planets, beyond galaxies, and I can really do something with that. But of course, in a depressed state, you're just kind of like, I don't know if I could do that today. I don't know if I can think of another planet that exists right now. Right now, I am in Illinois, and this is where I am right now. And so, back to the story with my client. In the beginning, it was difficult for her to daydream. Why is it so difficult for us to daydream? Here's why. Because if you daydream, then you're going to want what you're daydreaming about. And if you want what you're daydreaming about, then that means that you are that much further away from what you want. And then that's the possible letdown. Like, I don't want to get myself started on feeling really good because then I'm going to be reminded of not having this thing. What about just stopping yourself at that point where you're starting to feel good because this thought is making you feel good, and just stop there and not going further with, oh, but I don't have it right now. Oh, but it's not here. Oh, but that person isn't here. Or, oh, but I don't have that car. Oh, but I don't have that job. Oh, but I don't have that house. How about just stop right there? Like, isn't it so exciting to think of A, B, and C? You fill in the blank. What's exciting for you to think about, right? And the moment that you feel yourself falling into the Grand Canyon, falling into the old pattern, stop yourself. Become aware that this is practiced behavior. And then just stay in that place. So recently, I have been really thinking about just feeling good and what are the things that make me feel good. It's a really good song. It's it's attracting my soulmate. It's kissing my son on the cheek and just like giving him a shower of kisses and him being like, Mom, you know, um, it's waking up and I have a roof over my head. Recently, I got a new place. I So my coaching business didn't do so well due to COVID. I lost a lot of my clients, most of them. And my son and I landed to be homeless for 4.5 months. And it was a very, very challenging and difficult time. We are now in the bounce back phase where we have a roof over our head. Um, I have a walk-in closet. It's it's glorious. It's so fucking awesome. Um, and it's a newly rehab place. My son has his own closet, his own room, and and it's just great. But when I was in that place of despair and desperation, and being homeless, and at times sleeping in my car or sleeping in strangers' houses, or having to reach out to people for help, which was the most difficult thing. And I'm going to talk about that in another episode about asking for help and asking the right people for help. But I never stopped believing that I was going to get this place, and I allowed myself to feel good knowing, just being in this place of imagining it. That's it. Yes, there were times where I did start to get desperate, and I did start to feel lonely, and I would cry. I'm feeling a little emotional right now just thinking about it. And just not wanting to be alone in that place, and it's being it's affecting me emotionally because I'm taking myself back to that place. But if I bring myself back to the present moment where everything's okay, then I start to feel better. And that's what it's about. It's about, I didn't even do that on purpose. That's crazy. Um, that's what it's about. It's about allowing yourself to be exactly where you are. And when I was in these desperate places and daydreaming and um, really trying to take myself to a good place because I wasn't there physically, right? The manifestation wasn't there yet. Um, it was about focusing on what I had at that moment. Like, I could have been a homeless person that didn't have a car and didn't have a car to sleep in. I could have been a homeless person that didn't have friends that I could reach out to for help. I could have been a homeless person where she lost her son, and I wasn't able to get him back, and that wasn't the case. And so practicing gratitude was extremely important, and it is really hard to practice gratitude when you're in a depressed state. It's so fucking hard. But if you can just stop yourself at that point where you are feeling good and just leave it there, like, oh man, this song is making me feel so good. Oh man, it feels so good. But then it's reminding me of me being single, and I don't want to be single. And then that leads to, does that mean that I'm not the marriage type? Does that mean that I'm not someone that is worthy to be married? Does that mean that am not attractive? And then the negative thoughts just keep on going, and it turns into a snowball effect. And what really can happen is the positive, the glass half full, can create momentum as well. You can create a snowball effect in the opposite direction as well. When we were born as children, we were not born unhappy. We were born happy as babies. We looked at ourselves in the mirror and we didn't know that that was another baby. We were just like so enamored by it. And it wasn't until things that started to happen and adults that were projecting on us made us feel differently about ourselves, and not because they didn't love us or because for whatever reason it was lack of education, ignorance, and just not understanding how they were influencing our lives. And now it's our job to make sure that we can get back to that time where it was so easy to create a snowball effect in the other direction. And you can do it, but all you have to do is try. This is a new skill. And it takes 30 days to learn a new skill, and it takes 90 days to master it. And you can do it. All you have to do is believe and just start trying. Trying turns into doing turns into practicing, practicing turns into mastering, mastering turns into expert, right? Michael Jordan wasn't the best. Michael Jordan wasn't the best player right away. He had to practice, right? Tony Robbins wasn't the best at what he was doing. As a speaker, he had to practice. He wasn't the best coach. He had to practice. Anyone, when they were starting off, had to practice these things in order to get to where they are. Whatever you're doing, if you are really good at it, even if it's something you don't even like doing, there was some practice that went into that. And maybe it could have been something that just kind of like clicked together, and as soon as you did it, it was really easy for you. But something that you did before that you practiced so often, what made it easy for you to make the click with this new skill. So everything comes with practice. And that's all I'm saying, is that if you can allow yourself to feel good in that daydream, in that moment, and stop it before it turns into this snowball effect of negativity and really just fucking bullshit. It really is. Because it's not really you. Who you really are is who you really are is a fucking miracle. Let's think about it. Millions of sperm went towards that egg, but it was you that made it happen. Right? You want to get scientific, you want to get biological. So many other things could have happened, but only it didn't. What happened was you. And no one else has your fingerprint. No one else in any other fucking dimension is like you. So knowing this, right? Even if there are parallel dimensions out there, that other parallel is still not you. And so why not challenge yourself? Why the fuck not? Why not try to stop that snowball effect of negativity, especially if you're so tired of the suffering, if you're so tired of feeling like shit, if you're so tired of being tired? Why not try to go in another direction, right? Or even not go in another direction. Why not just try to stop? Just leave it there. And if it turns into a snowball effect, realize that that's not the real you. It's practiced patterns. You just need to practice something else and think about something else that makes you feel good. And that just go there. And if you're feeling depressed and you're feeling like shit, the purpose is not to feel grand and great. The purpose is to feel less depressed. The purpose is to feel less anxious. And it's a spectrum. It's not it's not a ladder. It's a spectrum. So you want to go from, you know, whatever color you want to categorize it as. Like you want to go from, and I've been talking about this often in other videos as well. You don't want to go, you can't make the jump from depressed to happy immediately. It doesn't work that way. You have to go from depressed to less depressed. And now I feel okay. Or now I feel not so okay, and it's okay not to be okay, right? And then now I feel okay. And now I feel meh. And now I feel, I think I feel pretty good. And now I feel, damn, I'm good. And then it turns into the next one and the next one and the next one. But it has to start with that small step of not feeling as depressed. You have to be okay with taking that step, because sometimes when you're in that place of feeling very, very anxious and feeling very depressed, those are the only steps you can take. Getting out of bed or doing something like that can be the most difficult thing for you to do. So, going back to daydreaming, allow yourself to daydream. Allow yourself to feel good. Don't let yourself or realize that it's an old thought pattern that's making you pay attention to the physical manifestation and not the feeling. Just focus on the feeling. let it make you feel good, and then it turns into something else. And if it doesn't, that's okay. You can always start all over again. This is your mind. No one else is in there with you but you. This is your brain with those old thought patterns. That's all you have to do. Yeah. Thank you very much for your time and your energy, your attention. I appreciate you. Again, I am Lupita V from Lupita V Coaching, licensed psychotherapist, motivational speaker, confidence coach, DJ, single mom, blah, blah, blah. And keep on going after that. I really appreciate you. I hope whoever needed to hear this message hears it, and it helps you begin that snowball effect in a different direction. I appreciate you. Thank you so much. Talk to you guys soon. Bye-bye.